Hello and welcome back to today's video. Today we are going to be ranking the Doctor Who regenerations from worst to best. Now I'm only going to be including the proper changing of the Doctor's regenerations, but I will be doing another video soon where I'll be doing all of the regenerations ever seen before on the show. But I do also want to say I will have a few honorable mentions here and there for the ones that don't really count what we're going to include anyway. So let's get straight into it with our first on the list. And by the way, I might have forgotten someone else, so if I have, just let me know. So first up is, in 11th place, is the third Doctor's regeneration. So obviously the third Doctor into the fourth Doctor. I felt like this regeneration was just a little bit bland. Now obviously the regeneration story after that was great, and kind of seeing him kick into gear and get ready, I loved that. Really, I really did like that. But just the regeneration as a whole was very very underclimactic in my opinion, especially after we'd had two great ones. But I think that was probably because it was third. The first one, was the special one. It was the first time it was ever happening. The second was, again, the second time it was happening. It was like, oh, let's see where it goes this time. And the third, you were kind of gotten into it by then. So I think that's why they started to change it up after the third, because it got a bit generic with the third Doctor one. It was very basic. And then obviously, the fourth, the fifth, they started putting in more story effort into it and making a bigger deal out of it. And I think that was definitely the right way to go. In number 10th place is, seconding to that, is the fourth Doctor's generation. Again, they have a little bit more story into it now, a little bit more climactic. It's got a little bit more going on, but still, in my opinion, they could have done a little bit more, especially considering I just think it needed just that little bit more from the fourth Doctor into the fifth Doctor, because it was, again, slightly out of the blue and slightly climactic for such a good Doctor and such a good run for Doctor Who. So yeah, but again, still a great one. I love all of these, but this is suddenly in the 10th place. Next is 9th place, and 9th place goes one up again to the 5th Doctor. A little bit better this time. I did really like how the 5th Doctor kind of jumps straight into action when he regenerates as the 6th Doctor, and I think his companion, no, is it Perry? It might be Perry. I think it's Perry. How the 6th Doctor literally just grabs her by the neck. I think that was really good. Kind of almost like a Capaldi-esque way that they just jumped straight into it. That was great. Again, made a bigger deal out of it. Felt like you're really jumping into this new era of the show, and it just worked really well. I think it was a really great regeneration, and it did really well. So in 8th place, we have the second Doctor's regeneration. Again, this one I like because they made a very big deal out of it. Obviously, there was that massive story building up to it, and then he kind of got to choose. It was a little bit different. And he wasn't happy with his choice. He kind of saw some things as he was changing, and it was a lot more climactic, and obviously it was really good. It was a nice change to the one we've had before. They definitely were like, okay, yeah, this is a big thing, let's make a big deal out of it. I really do like this one. I think this is a great one, and I'd love to see something like this again at some point. Maybe not necessarily with the Doctor, but with another character like the Master or something. Definitely a kind of similar regeneration scene to this where they get to choose. Next up in 7th place is the 8th Doctor. So obviously the 8th Doctor turning into the War Doctor in that kind of, I think it's called maybe Night of the Doctor, that kind of little mini-sode where he drinks the potion. Again, it's a great mini-sode. We can kind of count the whole thing. I would put it higher up, but you don't see too much of the actual regeneration itself. And once he's drunk on the potion, it's kind of quick. But again, like the second Doctor, it's nice to see it done a little bit differently. He drinks a potion rather than dying. He gets a choice. Again, he gets to kind of choose how, not necessarily what he wants to look like, but he does definitely get to choose that if they said he can, but he chooses more his personality and what this Doctor is like. And it's really nice to see the music, the effects, it was still done really nicely, especially with the de-aging. Next up in 6th place is the War Doctor. So obviously the War Doctor into the 9th Doctor. Now, hear me out for this one. I know you might say, well, why isn't that lower down? Because you don't really see it. One, there is a fantastic edit which I will try to link in the description, and it's really good. I highly recommend going and checking that out. But on top of that, it's because when he regenerates, you really feel like, okay, he's beginning this journey. This is the separation from classic to new Who. It's a brand big new era for the Doctor himself, and he's going to go on a lot of adventures, and you know where it's going, and it's just a load of fun ahead, and it's great, and it really gets you hyped, especially if maybe you were watching that scene maybe before starting like a rewind or something. That'd be really fun to do. Next up in 5th place is the 11th Doctor. Again, very climactic. Obviously, I know there's the other bit as well, because he kind of does it twice, because he has the big kind of explosion regeneration when he's in the clock tower, and then it kind of there's like the Flash. So we're gonna kind of merge both as one. And this is why it's in 5th place, because I love the big explosion. It's really great. It's really climactic. The music, the effects, all of it, the story is really, really good. It's really hyped up and built up perfectly, in my opinion. And then obviously you do get the nice, more kind of sad and quiet bit as well at the end with Clara, which is great too. So that's why it's in this place, because it could have done a little bit more. Well, no, because I feel like it didn't need to do more and it didn't need to do less. It was perfect, which is kind of, I guess, why it's in the middle of the rankings. Next up in 4th place, getting close to the top 3 now, but in 4th place is the First Doctor, because it's the first one. And I'm not just saying it's because of the first one. Like, you know, I don't like Rose, the episode, you know, episode 1 of New Who that great. I think I give it like a 6, maybe 6.5 out of 10. I don't think it's that great, honestly. Like, it's good, but, you know, I just think there's a lot better. Some people are like 10 out of 10, but anyway, we're going off topic. So, for you know, 4th place, the First Doctor, it's different. It was a shock, especially if you're watching it, it'd be a big shock, and it was pretty ballsy to do at the time. As well, I think it's a great way to go around, obviously, the issues in filming, and the characters reacting to it, just all of it. No, hold on, were there characters reacting to it? But the whole thing, not the characters reacting to it, but kind of people's reacting to it for the first time, and you kind of going, okay, here we go. The adventure really has just begun. Like, this really is the start, and I think it's a great moment. In 3rd place, we have the 12th Doctor. Now, these top 3 were very hard to pick, but I'm just kind of basing these 3 a lot off of my personal experiences and kind of my personal emotional ride with the Regenerations. So yeah, 3rd place is the 12th Doctor, because again, really nice climactic moment with the speech. The music is top form from Murray Gold. Obviously, it's probably one of the last pieces he properly made. Well, you know, the kind of different Regeneration piece as well. It's fantastically done. The effects, the camera angles, the speech, the dialogue, the acting, it's all of it is on top performance, the lot. And that moment of when you see him turn into Jodie as well, it's fantastic. It's really great. I hope Jodie gets a good regeneration. We can, you know, add her to the rankings in a few months' time once we have her as well. Maybe that's when we'll do a kind of a more open regeneration list with loads of them. Maybe some even a big finish. 2nd place, might be a little bit surprised. It's either going to be between 9 or 10. But 2nd place is the 9th Doctor. Now, I know it doesn't actually have a lot, but I think for me, similar with kind of with like the War Doctor regenerating and the First Doctor, it just feels like it feels very satisfying the way he goes, where he's trying to keep Rose calm and the way that he's trying to be himself calm. It really feels like this Doctor is going to die. Like, when other Doctors go, oh, you know, it's exciting, we're getting a new one, but you don't really tend to think about, oh, well, they're literally dying. Like, this personality, they're dead. They're basically killing themselves in a way. And you feel that a lot with the 9th Doctor's regeneration. It's really heartfelt, and I really like it. The music as well is great, and it's the first time we get the kind of new effects. First time in New Who again, and it just feels like it's kicking off New Who. This really is it's just the beginning of all of the adventures ahead. So naturally, in 1st place is the 10th Doctor's regeneration. I think it's because my favourite Doctor is the 12th Doctor, but the 10th Doctor's regeneration for me is just the best because, one, you explode the whole TARDIS. So I had to switch softwares and switch recording from what I normally record to my Mac, so the quality is a little lower, and it's because my phone decided to be an absolute cock. But yeah, the 11th Doctor's regeneration is really, you know, I know that's big as well, but the 10th one, the scale is it's just even bigger for some reason, and obviously the emotion is a lot more there because he's really, really sad to go. Like, you can tell he knows he's only got one life left, and he's properly sad to go. And, you know, you've got pillars falling, fire everywhere, and I think it's just, for me, that's why it's in the number 1 spot. I do have 2 honourable mentions which I'd like to talk about. First is the 12th Doctor Fake Out. Now, obviously, that was in Series 10 with Bill Potts. I thought, the music kind of slowly ramping up. It did felt really good, it did feel really cool, and it was really nice to and exciting, kind of giving you a little taster for what's to come, obviously, with the big kind of 12 speech and music fest. And then my second honourable mention isn't even from a Doctor, it is from the War Master into the Harold Saxon Master, so obviously the John Sim. So Jacoby to Sim. I really like that regeneration. I think the different colours, it's really cool. I don't know really why the creative choice was to do that, because yeah, I just think it's really, really cool. But I love the different colours. I feel like it doesn't make too much sense as to maybe why different Time Lords generate differently, but maybe it's because he's suppressed it for so long, the regeneration energy is almost like weaker or something. You know, again, my third and final honorable mention is actually, surprisingly, when the child, you know, the timeless child fell to their death and regenerated. And this is partly why I'm really looking forward to Jodie's regeneration, because the effects looked so high quality and so good. It was like, oh my god, that is like genuinely amazing quality of effects. So I'm really excited to see that on Jodie. So that's it for this video. I'm going to be doing something called Dalek Week very, very soon. So if you're, you know, wanting to know more about that, keep an eye on the channel because we're going to be doing some great content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all later.
We're smashing mics in karaoke bars. You're running late with half your mates.